Hey everybody, we are here with Harley Dufek, realtor back in Virginia, been in the business for 15, 17 years now, sold a lot of homes. We're gonna have a great conversation. Stick around, here we go. Harley, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Yeah, how you doing, man? 4th of July, holiday weekend was good?
Yeah, really good. Yep, in the nation's capital for the 4th.
There you go.
Can't beat it.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy and
Thanks.
doing a lot of things. So,
Yeah,
been in the business a long time. I was reading a little bit about you. I've gotten to know you a little bit here the last few weeks, especially. But being down there in Florida, it was good seeing you down there at the
That was
conference.
great. That was great times. I loved
great
Orlando,
time.
man.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was very, very, very fun. So, had a good time down there. You bought your first property. You were 23 years old, right? That was kind of the start of you. You've been an entrepreneur for, just reading some about you. Going way back, even into your teen years, right? Tell us some of your story.
Born and raised in Alaska. I had fun fact. I had St. Bernards that I did weight pulling with in Alaska. So
well, there you go.
And when I wasn't doing that, I was washing windows. So I had my own business for a few years. You could drive pretty early in Alaska, so you could drive when you were 14 then. And
really? Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. So I went. I was all door to door. So I'd prospect all one day. Right, knock on your door and like, hey, do you want a free quote on washing windows? Right, like surprising, Jeff, how much money a 16-year-old can make.
Really
washing windows, because as I look back and I'm like, man, that'd be pretty good money.
You did pretty good for
did pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
People don't want to do it.
Yeah. No kidding. So you started there, and then you ended up, but you were the National Guard, right?
Yep.
Army National Guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you were 23 years old when you bought your first property.
Right. Yeah, in Seattle. Yeah, I just read a pile of books on investing and whatnot, and I really wanted to own homes. I really wanted to have rental homes, do investments, do flips, all of that. And I ended up turning that house into a duplex, and did quite well with it. Actually, did good. And then that's when my buddy from Alaska, Tyler Eddy, he told me, he's like, Harley, you should really become a real estate agent. No, become a real estate agent. And and so but it got me. I was in I was sitting at my job. I was working for the city of Seattle as a water treatment guy. I did like drinking water, like for the municipality. So I ran the plant. Part of that was just being there for 12 hours. You might work about an hour, and the rest you're just kind of monitoring things. So had a lot of downtime. So I was able to read a lot, study a lot. Worked on a mortgage business. That's back in the good old days when one day you weren't a mortgage guy and the next day you were one. So so just was able to do that, and I wanted to start out in the lending side of things, because I felt that was harder, and I just wanted to learn the lending instrument, and how that worked, how it could benefit people, and what we could do with it. So and it wasn't my passion, but I just felt like it was good for me to know. And so I did that for a couple of years. Then I made the entirely monumentous decision to leave my top tier Teamster union job, with all the benefits and everything, to start at Remax, paying them $1,000 a month. So that's
okay. When was that? What year was that?
That was 2007.
2007. Okay, so that's when you actually started as a realtor. 2007.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
and then and then that, quickly after that, that's kind of when, the crisis happened, really. And fortunately, though, I joined up with this fellow named Matt Steele, and we were doing foreclosure sales. So we did a lot of those. So I attribute most of my experience really early on, just as a kind of a new agent, as selling those homes. So I had to get really, really, really good at forecasting what a house would sell for, because my job on the team was to sell the resale properties, because we were buying and selling foreclosure homes for investors. So they would put their money up with us, and it was literally the most aggressive way to buy a home there. It was all cash on the barrel. Right now, you have 30 seconds, to pay full boat, no takebacks. Boom, it's yours. Right.
Yeah.
So everybody wanted to know, obviously, Harley, what can you sell the home for? So they could do the math backwards of what they could bid up to. Right. So I had to get really good at like figuring out and telling people like, okay, this is where I would sell it at in 3 months in the future for a house I've never seen before. So I got really good at doing that. We just did that dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Right. So it was really good experience. And we had a lot of fun doing it. We didn't lose money for anybody. We either broke even or made them a lot of money, and it was good. And we were staffing up the inventory that was there, and then got into a lot of short sales, and just learned kind of the nuts and bolts of the business, from there. And then started a brokerage company of my own called Exclusive Home Realty with partner Chris Perard and Jeff Moreland. And that was in 2010. And that ended up being pretty good. We were in NAEA with Jane Mike, and did the whole mastermind thing with them, built out the company, just kind of did the whole meal deal, so to speak, like all the stuff,
what made you want to start your own company?
Well, I'm not a very good person to like work for somebody, I think.
Right. Yeah. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
So there was that, I just felt like that there was a better way, and that I just wanted to explore what it would be like, to create my own vision. And, and we did. We had a really crack team. It was a brokerage, but it was more or less a team. I mean, we had anywhere between 9 to 17 people, something like that. And at any one time, and it was just us, and we did really well for ourselves. So, so it was a lot of fun.
Good for you. Yeah. How long did you have that brokerage?
How many years? So shut it down about 7 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
what were some of the pluses of that? Was, again, you could do your own thing.
Yeah.
You had that independence. You probably, I'm going to assume you made more money than being a solo agent.
No, actually, no, did not, come to find out that, I mean, yes and no. I mean, there was some opportunity that we could have, but we poured it back into the business, actually.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
building the company out.
Yeah. Cause I mean, and I had 2 other partners. I suppose if I owned it all myself, maybe that might've been a little bit different. But looking back on it, yeah, I mean, I think that one can make a lot of money owning it, and running a big team like that, or you can actually make even more money being a solo agent too, if you do it right. I mean, there's other ways to doing it, and
ways to do it, and not that money's everything, but I remember, like, I don't know. I remember when I started my team, I just got to a point, my 3rd year, I did 72 deals by myself, no assistant. And
oh, great. Wow.
My wife was helping me and doing a ton, and she ended up getting licensed in 2005. And then we went to Keller Williams. We built a team. We hired an assistant. That was the first thing we did, and that helped a ton. And then we started bringing on some buyer agents, and and built a team. But even with that, like I didn't have the liability. For me personally, I just didn't want the liability of being a broker. But we had a team like 5-6 agents, and there was a lot of pluses to it. At the same time, I remember 2008 when that hit, and was like, man, oh man, like I just felt so much pressure with that. We got through it. I mean, but yeah, a ton of short sales. But I remember just scrambling. I mean, I'm losing sleep at night because, here's, Corey on my team, single mom who hasn't had a closing in 3 months. And, I feel so responsible for them and wanting them to succeed. I'm spending more and more money for marketing, trying to find any leads I could find, just anything we could do to drum up business, that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just, there's highs and lows, pluses and minuses, no matter which way you go. But, it was a stressful time during all that,
Yeah, agreed. And it can be stressful. I remember, because just kind of playing red light, green light with some things. There's $70,000 a month nut. You got to hit. So there's that, and fortunately we did okay, and we did fairly well for ourselves, but but there was always that wolf at the door, so to speak, and it was really tough to be nimble at that size. I mean, I suppose if one got bigger and bigger and bigger, it might be a little different, but you'd have different challenges too. So some of the main things that were good for me was just the folks that I had just an amazing, just ninja assassin ISA. I mean,
nice.
Your name's Susan Yerbeck. She's amazing, and just absolutely carried the ball, downfield with us quite hard. She was responsible for about 150 sales a year herself.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
that's a good person to have right there.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. She set no less than 100 appointments a month. I mean, it was really, really, really good. And then
wow.
my buyer agent, she fed about 9, about 9 buyer agents, 2-3 listing agents. So, that's what she did.
That's a hard position to fill. I mean, it's
hard.
It's hard to fill. It's hard to maintain it. There's a burnout factor there, which I get it. You're on the phone all day long, every day.
Yep.
But if you find the right one and the right personality type to do that and make those calls, man, like what you had, obviously that's huge to have.
Yeah.
That. Can I ask for somebody that might for somebody that might be thinking about like, man, I need to hire an ISA or whatever, like how did you set her up? How was she paid? Can I ask that just so people could just give them some things to think about? How did you do it with her?
Number one mistake I made in my career was I didn't pay her enough. So,
okay.
So there's that, looking back on it, when you had somebody delivering that amount of value, I mean, pay him more. I mean, she wasn't paid poorly or anything. It was just, I believe she'd rake in 70, 80,000 when the dust settled. And nice. It was a mixture of like, a base salary and then a per deal count.
Okay.
Because there was a long time where she wasn't licensed, so I think we just did it per unit or something. But then when she was licensed, I think then we paid on a percentage. But it was come to find out, a little bit of fallacy with some of that too, is that the right person, the pay doesn't, the type of pay doesn't matter so much, I don't think. I think that it can, because we did play around with incentives like on appointment set versus kept, for instance. So, so we did pay on kept appointments, there was a time when we paid on sets and that was a mistake. So,
I did the same thing. I made that mistake as well.
Did you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then, you show up and then they're not there or whatever, different things,
They're not there. And then you're just paying for this stuff. And,
yeah,
kind of driving in that. And I just have different thoughts on ISAs altogether today, and how we do things. I do think that it's tiered now. I think that it's kind of a pre-ISA type position where they're drumming up certain opportunities, and then your other ISA might take over from, but it's kind of getting a little bit into the weeds with that, but it's needless to say, it was definitely the driver of my business. I mean, my agents didn't do any appointments themselves. I mean, some of them did. In fact, the top producer guy did. He did really well for himself. He got appointments too, but he also set his own, and he made his own niche, doing that. Yeah, and I remember the day, because Chris ran all my operations, right? And I just did sales. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cough here. But I just did sales, and he comes up to me one day and he's like, Harley, hey, guess what? So we paid Jason 3.5 bills last year. Like, really? Oh, that's great. I mean, does that mean that we made 3.5 bills too? And he's like, yep. And here's the other thing, he's leaving. Oh wow. Okay. So that happened. And he went to Remax. And so, which I never quite understood, because I was like, boy, what would cause somebody, as a buyer agent, you're making that kind of money. We don't have a bad culture or anything like that. We in our group, in our mastermind group, we were actually, didn't have, that was one of the issues we didn't have. We had other issues, but we didn't have that one as a retention issue.
Right.
So Jason ended up leaving. Yeah. So we're like, wow, and so, and then we started scratching our heads, like why, like what, and this was an old college buddy of Chris's, by the way. This wasn't like somebody that we just randomly knew or anything like that. He started, I remember when Jason, the day that he came into the company, he sat down with me, he was working at Redfin, and I'm like, Jason, what, because Redfin started in Seattle, right? So
okay.
like early Redfin days.
Yeah.
Jason's like, yeah, I'm working at Redfin, I'm doing showings for him. I'm like, oh, well, all right. Well, how much do you make doing that? And he's like, $47 for a showing event, which is 3 showings.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
For one person, right? So,
okay. All right.
Oh, all right, dude. Well, good for you. That's good. And but then we quickly I've never seen anybody take so copious notes in my life. I mean, the guy just absolutely just literally everything we said, he just wrote it down, and then he actually did it, which is amazing. So actually did it.
Yeah.
So, and he did well for himself. So he did really good, but then he ended up leaving. Why? Because, somebody on a team, they can outgrow, right? They outgrow the team, and the environment, and good for him. This is great. I want him to. I want to see him thrive. But it got us to thinking, like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Like, how can we offer this? Because where are we going as a company? I mean, we, that's cool. We got all this stuff, and we're winning awards, and we're doing, all these things. But like, like, how can we scale? How can we scale with, if we're going to lose top talent that we've nurtured over years and years, and took from zero to, to making some of the best money, that I know of as buyer. I mean, maybe some buyer agents make a lot more. I don't know, but that's pretty good, and, so like, what can we do? Well, that's kind of when eXp came along, because Jay Kinder is always like, man, how do we take all our fires, put them together, and make one big fire? Right. Like that was his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
well, that's one of the hardest parts. I remember, I had a guy, when I started my team, my number one guy, his name was John, and we go way back. I mean, I was in his wedding, he was in my wedding, his wife, friends, whatever, for years, going way back. Moves to Colorado from California, and, got his license and jumped in with me and became my number one guy within a year or so. I mean, he just was on it, and doing 40, 50 deals a year, made great money with it. And I remember when, 6-7 years into it, and he is ready to make a move. And I get it. I want to go start my own team. I want to go whatever. Like, and I'm all, all about that. Like, hey, what can I do to help you? Whatever. Like that. But replacing him, like, that's a blow to your business.
Yeah.
As a team leader or as a broker owner like yourself, like that, you don't just go out and, hire somebody the next day and they come in and take over where John left off or where your guy left. It doesn't happen. There's a process to that, and man, that's hard to do. It's one of the hardest things about, I think, having a team, or even, having a brokerage, whatever. When the top people leave the brokerage and go somewhere else, I mean, other people tend to follow them, whatever, because they're leaders, this and that. People look up to them, and to try and replace that person, man, that's a challenge.
Yeah,
That's a challenge.
exactly. And yeah, I mean, like I said before, I was just kind of blessed with really, really good people on the team.
Yeah.
That's why, Susan being one of them, Jason, we had Sarah Jean. She was just a rock star transaction coordinator, just led everything, got it through to closing,
Right.
Every single time, got through that was the other thing. We get audited, like you own your own company, right?
Right,
Like
right.
you get these things called audits.
Okay.
So
yeah,
state will come in, they want to see everything. Now, fortunately, Sarah Jean had them all together. In fact, they even said, "Hey, we've never even seen books this clean before. This is great."
Nice.
So that was good.
Right.
But you're dealing with a lot of complaints a lot of times, lawsuits, stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, fortunately, I didn't get, on the wrong side of any of that.
Right.
Everything was copacetic. We got through it all, but you're constantly in the limelight with that because you are the broker, right?
Totally. Well, the brain damage that comes along with it, the disruption in your business, the, losing sleep at night because you got to deal with it. I mean, it's just, I can't, yeah, I hear you. That's hard.
Yeah. So a lot of that, and, just kind of went away. I mean, I just feel like I was just real blessed at the time, and, we had a really good run, but, at the same time, a lot of things really had to line up for that to even work as good as it did.
Right.
And then looking back on it, I don't even know as good as it did, like was everything that we could have done. So, so yeah, that's why the whole idea with eXp and coming over was, just really a fresh breath of air, or, just
breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
yep.
A fresh breath air. Yeah. No.
And just
when did you make the move to eXp? How long have you been at eXp?
About 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking back. It's time's really flown by. It's been an interesting ride. I remember because I was in the room when Albie Stasek presented it, and was just, and it was more or less like a little, like we're in this little like closet. And, you're just all stuffed in there, and he's like, "Guys, I saw this thing," and I mean, that was kind of when everything kind of changed, and because we were doing coaching at the time too, with NAEA, and that was pretty good, and I had like, I don't know, I had like 17 coaching clients at the peak, which I loved. It was really, really great to do that. It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it, and I got to talk to guys like you. I talked to guys that were running teams and whatnot, and how they could implement our systems and get to the next level, and what their challenges were, and stuff like that. And I was working in the business, so I was kind of in the trenches, right, like with it. So that was a lot of fun. But this whole shift of coming into a company like this and then just blowing it up this way is just been a game changer. So
yeah, for sure. Now, do you still have, or any of those? You don't still have a team like a traditional team? Did they come with you to eXp, or did some of them go different directions?
A lot of them are. Yeah, a lot of them are in eXp. So we don't have a traditional team that way. And I think that the team, when we say team today, I mean, I think that people have different levels of teams, with things. I certainly don't have a team like I used to. And I don't want one. So,
yeah, I was gonna say by choice. I don't either. I had a team for 13 years, and once I got over here, I'm like, wait, I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. So it's just not. It doesn't play into my overall financial picture where I want to go with stuff, and I feel like I can help people out even more doing what I'm doing, and just give them the benefit of what just the things I've been through, and what we can do to help them to achieve that next level.
Right. Well, one of the nice things here, and just going back to your guy that left, whatever. Like, I think here, one of the things, and just to help people understand this, I mean, again, a whole different deal. If you've never taken a look at eXp, I would tell you, if you're friends with Harley, get a hold of Harley. You got to just see what's going on over here. This is not just your traditional model. It's a completely different model. It's never been done before,
No.
And I think, I don't know, like it's just so different, and people just assume it's just another model, whatever, but they don't know what they don't know. I'm like, just come look at it, at least look at it. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but at least know what you're saying no to. Don't just assume that because you've been in the business for 20 years and think you know all about how this model works, because you don't, if you haven't seen it. It's just different. And, I've always been open to looking at stuff. When I looked at it, I realized here, like, wait a minute, like, okay, I had people leave on my team. You had your guy leave, and different ones, whatever. But here, if they leave, they're probably not going to leave eXp. And you can still, like, I've had people that have joined here that they're the producing agents. They're not going anywhere. Like it wouldn't make financial sense to move anywhere else when you've been here for a while, especially if you're producing at all. I mean, so even though they might, if I had a team and they leave my team, which is fine, they're not going to leave eXp, and I'm still going to be able to override some of what they do, because, I was the one that brought them into eXp. And there's advantages to that, right? I mean, so
yeah,
go ahead.
Clear. Well, yeah, I mean, clear advantages, because like neither my company nor Remax, for instance, or for that matter, and I can pick on Remax. I started at Remax. So I pick at Remax,
great company.
But Remax, don't offer stock. They don't offer health insurance. They don't offer nobody offers the collaboration that we have, whereas you get into any particular office, it's kind of every person for themselves, right? You're all in competition with everybody else. This is literally a collaboration. They don't offer ownership, and they don't offer an ability to make money in other ways, like through rev share either. So all of those things I didn't have, and neither did Remax either. For that matter, just saying because that's where Jason went to. Yeah. And I don't know if that would have swayed the decision or not, but boy, that'd be worth looking at. Like you said, I mean, you really need to look at it and evaluate for yourself. I mean, because I think as agents, it's really easy for us to get caught up with the next shiny object of the next sale. Yeah. Of saying, oh, awesome, I'm going to make $18,000 on this next, commission check. And that's a lot of money for me. Well, that's good. And I think you should do that. But just, we have to look at the future too. And if you just keep on the hamster wheel, you're never going to get off of that. It's just, so I just encourage people today. It's like, okay, that's cool. Let's keep it going. But, let's build some long-term residual revenue here. Let's build some wealth.
Yeah. Right? So at least have the option to pull back if you want to down the road. I used to dread January. Oh my gosh. I mean, we had, when
making the turn.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we're right back at zero. We just did 185 deals as a team, and had a great year, and everybody made good money, and it was all good. And we're celebrating. It's the holidays, whatever. And January 1st comes, and it was just like, oh, dang it. Like, I'm right back at zero. Oh my God. I hated that feeling, having to do it all again. And how do you get out? What's the way out? Yeah. And then there's so many things that are out of our control. I remember when 2008 hit. I mean, that happened fast. We went from, having, 12, 15, 18 closings a month as a team to 1 and 2. Like overnight. Like it wasn't this slow trickle down, like, 10, 8, it was like just instantly. Buyers pulling back, couldn't get financed. Sellers taking their houses off the market. Like everybody just screeching halt. Everything just froze. Well, the bills don't go away.
I was going to say, my
team costs don't go away.
$70,000 a month, that does not change.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have any closings this month? That's okay, Harley. We'll let you go another month. That doesn't work that way. Those just keep coming. And I remember, like, man, I just, here's my savings and different things we had. We were cashing out things. I mean, because I had 3 people on payroll at the time. I mean, one at a time, I just had to let them go, and I hated that feeling, but I had to. I mean, we wiped out our savings, like paying them and making that go. Now, again, it's like, I think right now, here we are, we're in a shifting market. That's obviously happening all across the country as well. There's a lot of panic out there. There's a lot of fear. We're seeing that all over social media and stuff, real estate agents. I think, what would you say right now? I mean, you mentioned earlier, with when you were buying, when your company that you were with, you were buying all the foreclosures, and you having to look 3 months out to price something that was something. I think that's very key right now in terms of not being able to look in the future like that, but you can't just do a CMA and look back at comps from the last 90 days and now price your home. That's not going to work in this market.
Right.
What would you say? Let's talk a little bit about this market real quick. We'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. But what would you see? What would you say to some of the newer agents who might be watching? They've been in the business for 2 years. They've never been through a market shift, whatever. It's been, put a sign out there and it sells in 3 days and all that kind of stuff. What are some of the things you would say to newer agents right now, or even agents been around for 5-6 years? Like, what are some things that would be good for them to hear and to learn going into what we're going into right now?
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of the systems that you're running and that you're doing. I had a very precise way that I'll sell houses, and
Right.
what I do. And I would just say, even in this easier market or whatever to sell, I mean, are you getting everything that you can? And that's really the main point. And to look at the data in terms of absorption rate is a big thing too.
Yeah.
When you're evaluating, a property that way, that's a good way of doing it. But just not to skip steps, because I know that that's easy to do, and a lot of pressure is put on with sellers too to want you to do that. And I still don't do that. Even today, I'll still do every single thing. Is it down market, up market? It doesn't matter. I'm selling the property for as much as we possibly can get out of it. Right. And I think that's probably the best advice I can give with that.
Yeah. I think things have to be priced right. I'm trying to help the sellers, like, don't, let's look at all the data. You really have to have good conversations with your clients these days and just really get them up to speed on where we are right now in this market. The seller that, well, my neighbor's home sold for 600 last month, so I'm going to price it at 630, whatever. It's like, no, you can't do that in this market, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We had one we put on the market here just recently. They wanted to list it at 499. Here in Colorado Springs. And we had all the data. We showed them the numbers. We showed them, they'd have been the highest price home in their neighborhood that had sold ever. Like, just looking at all the history of
record-breaking sale. Huh?
Yeah, this is what it would have been. It was a nice house and stuff. But then we showed them, like, here's all the price drops that have happened in the last, 30 days. Here's, whatever. Here's the homes that have expired. We haven't seen expired listings in a long time.
Right.
I was looking at that over the weekend. The Denver MLS, which we're a part of, I'm in Colorado Springs, but Denver, 788 expired listings in the last 30 days.
Oh, wow. Boy,
that's huge. Here in Colorado Springs, I think it was like 48 or something like that, much smaller market. But still, that's something we haven't seen in a long time. I'm trying to help the sellers, like, let's show them all this data and let's price it right. Let's not chase the market down. Price it right. Now, this seller that we had a good conversation, they listened to us. We priced it at 469 instead of 499. Yeah. We ended up with 11 offers and got it under contract at 519. It just closed here about a week ago. So they're thrilled. They're doing backflips and whatever. Like, that is still happening out there. But I think if we had priced it at 499, we'd probably still be on the market and we'd be down to 469 or even less. Right. And now it's like, buyers are still in that mindset. Well, if it's on the market very long, what's wrong with that house? I mean, so I think we just have to have those conversations with our clients more than we've had to have in the last 4 or 5 years. You have to get really good at looking at this kind of stuff and being able to have those conversations. I think just, educating the clients, more so than it's just a different market than it was 2 months ago. So,
you don't want to be chasing it down, chase it up.
Yeah, totally. So, well, anyway, well, good deal. Well, anything else you want to throw out at all? Anything else you're thinking of that would be good to?
Well, another thing I'm doing a lot is the cross sale with solar. I might have mentioned that to you when I was down there in Orlando. It's been good. Company I'm with is called Power, POWUR. It's they call themselves the eXp of solar. So they're
okay.
So they're a platform like eXp, and they've structured it like that. But and I use it as like a bolt on to my real estate business. Okay. Because when you think about it, the real estate turn down lead is a solar lead. So, if you're calling on stuff, it's just a good cross sale, and you can help people out, help out your past clients, help out new listings, value add. And you get paid for it too. So something to consider too, just in terms of multiple streams of income, using the same house sales and contacts and everything that you have already. Right. So
for sure. Different ways. I think it's just, again, think outside the box a little bit,
right.
And, and again, and diversify yourself a little bit. I mean, it is good to have the multiple streams. It's one of the things I love about eXp. I mean, just getting the stock, having the revenue share, just having, being able to get paid in multiple ways for what we're going to be doing anyway. That was one of the things when I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, and then I look ahead, I'm like, 5 years from now, where do you want to be? Well, 5 years are going to go by no matter what, whether I stay where I was or whether I give this a shot. And I'm like, what do I have to lose here? It looks like I have a lot to gain. And I know I can always go back to where I came from if this isn't working the way I thought it would work. Well, it's worked way beyond what I thought it would work. And I'll be honest, I can't imagine where we're going to be like 5 years from now. I mean, seriously, I've been here 4.5 years. It is unbelievable what this company is doing. I get excited about it.
Well, I think it's just going to be a lot more global than it already is. I mean, I know that we're in 22 countries right now, and it's expanding. And I know, like that shareholders, we think of eXpCon in Vegas and then shareholders in Orlando, but I think as we expand, more globally, we're going to have these conferences in Singapore, or wherever, right? Like different areas around the world too. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. No, it'd be awesome. Definitely. For sure. Well, I'm excited about where things are going. I appreciate your time. I know you've done some big things, in your career. Well, let me throw out one other thing here. Being a broker owner, the nice thing coming over here, again, you're not going to lose people the way you would. The retention factor here is huge.
Right.
But that liability factor goes away. You're probably sleeping better at night. You're not getting sued.
Yeah, people. So people sometimes will say, 16,000 cap. I'm like, man, have you ever had a brokerage before? Because I tell you, that's cheap. To hire a broker like that. Oh, mind you, in all 50 states, not to mention 22 countries. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing too, like what I try and help people, I'm only paying 8,000 where I'm at now. Okay. Getting around the best agents in the country, getting, 80 hours a week of live training, getting more tools, more systems. Do you think you could do one extra deal a year with what we provide? Like, oh my gosh, like, heck yeah. People are doing, 10, 20 extra deals, just from what they're learning, you become who you hang around. Get around these people. If we can help you just do one extra deal a year, you're going to make up the difference in that cost. And then, you become an icon agent and get it all back anyway. And stock bonuses, everything. There's just so much going on that people don't understand. And that's why they need to get a hold of you, get a hold of me, just reach out, okay, let me just take a look at it and just evaluate it for yourself. Just see if it's something that would be a fit or not. If it is great, if it isn't great, either way is fine, but you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
So don't hesitate to look at it. So anyway, well, good deal, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, man. So I'll see you. I see you in Dallas. Are you going to be at Brent Gove's?
I plan on it. Yeah,
Tony Robbins. Build.
I was there last. Did you make it last year?
I was there last year. It was amazing. I mean, Tony, that was the fastest 4 hours I've ever sat through my life. I mean,
right?
Oh my gosh, the energy that guy has. If you've never seen Tony Robbins, come to this build event with us. I mean, seriously, that's open to all agents as well. I mean, oh my gosh, what an amazing event that was. I can't wait for that one. So, and then Vegas in October, I guess, for the
Vegas
convention.
In October, and that's always good times there.
That's always fun. So, Harley, thank you very much, guys. Again, if you have any questions for us, I mean, seriously, you can put them on Facebook or on the YouTube page, whatever. We will definitely get back to you here. If you have any questions for us at all, if we can help you in your business in any way at all, reach out to either one of us. Let us know how we can do that. If you're on my YouTube channel, give it a subscribe, hit that bell up there. You get notified. We're doing a few of these a week and all kinds of trainings, different thing we're doing, anything we do to add value to your business. So anyway, totally appreciate it. Harley, again, thank you very much. Have a great July. Okay.
Oh, you too, Jeff.
All right, then. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.